them in this game has some really big issues, and I don't know if Arrowhead will ever like actually sit down and fix them, or if they're just determined for it to be like this all the time. But there is issues with it. There's a stalker nest right here, and until they fix it, then you know we're always gonna have issues. I personally think that if a planet has like should have like a passive resistance when it's getting invaded, like a 0.5 to 1% depending how close it is to Super Earth. I don't think it should just be like carte blanche no matter what. At the end of 24 hours you're losing or winning, you're losing it no matter what. I feel that like the planet, if it should all planets have a SEAF garrison on them. They should all have a, just like how every planet that we fight has an infestation or reserve force of squids, or a factory's worth load of automatons defending the planet, which is what creates the resistance rate. There should be, you know, if there's a supply line and the planet is close to Super Earth, it should have a really high SEAF soldier garrison, and if it's not close, it should have a lower SEAF soldier garrison, also dependent on how many supply lines connect to it. And then it should have a passive pushback rate, so the enemies either, you know, it doesn't require so many Helldivers to win an invasion all the time. I mean, it's ridiculous. It truly is. I don't know how a remnant empire that has a remnant leftover force after failing such a massive invasion is able to conquer so many planets with no problem. And then it feels like the SEAF soldiers are barely represented in this game, when in reality they're the main fighting force of Super Earth. Helldivers are the special forces that attack in the back, and the SEAF soldiers are the ones on the front lines in every conflict. And even though they can't be represented all the time in the game due to game limitations and everything, and plus just lore-wise we're behind enemy lines, like I said, I mean, reality is that, you know, the SEAF should be present in the Galactic war setting somehow, but they're not at all. And it's probably like the one thing that like frustrates me the most when it comes to Arrowhead and Helldivers in general. Like, love the game, love the devs, but I really do feel like the Galactic war setting needs a little bit more cooking, or a little bit more like reworking, to have systems like that, because it's totally in the enemy's favor. That's not how that's Azra. I disagree with that. That's not the SEAF soldiers are not purely there for defensive lines. As much as I don't like to draw too many comparisons to Warhammer, just because it's not a one-to-one universe most of the time, I think it's kind of like how, or you know what, it's actually more like the UNSC. You have like the Marines and the Army, who are like the frontline grunts in the trenches fighting the Covenant, and then you have the ODSTs who get dropped behind enemy lines and do as much chaos and damage as they can before they're either killed or they're extracted. And that's kind of the Helldivers. It's literally the way that this military this works. And I don't know, it just never feels like that, really. Like, a perfect way to imagine Helldivers, and even in a real world setting, we can even apply it to like a real world, less sci-fi crazy setting, is, let's say, like, you know how like on D-Day, before D-Day they sent in like a bunch of paratroopers to like destroy gun emplacements and sabotage German like facilities and everything, so that was it the Army or the Marines? I think it was the Army, so that the Army could land on the beaches a little bit easier. I mean, even though it was already hell, they'd be at least like less hell, because the gun emplacements were taken out by the paratroopers who landed before. That's basically what the Helldivers are. Like, we land in, we go into a certain facility or a certain sector of the planet, we blow up a bunch of like bot infrastructure. Let's say if we're talking about automatons, like, we blow up the facilities, rebuilding the bases, we blow up the fortresses and all that, and then we dip, and then most likely the SEAF come in after and clean up, or they're literally on the front lines, like I said. But man, it just doesn't feel like that's the case sometimes. It just feels like, not that, it doesn't feel that it just feels like the SEAF aren't represented in the Galactic War at all, until the game masters decide to have the SEAF do a dispatch like buff on a planet where they're liberating a planet like hella hard, or like or something, you know. It just feels like they're just like a modifier. It doesn't really feel like they're there Even though they did introduce that one new feature, I think, where if like there's a planet that doesn't belong to us and we surround it completely, we completely cut it off, then the SEAF, there's like a SEAF regiment icon that pops up on the Helldivers 2 companion, and it does what I say that I've always wanted, and it will auto generate I think 0.5% liberation per hour no matter what, and then on top of whatever other liberation the Helldivers generate. But I feel like as supply lines get disconnected, or like as the supply line should determine how much your SEAF garrison does, and there should be like a SEAF garrison thing for each planet, man. I'm not saying that planets should be auto defeated for maybe I don't think, maybe I'm thinking about this right now, I don't think SEAF soldiers should auto defeat like invasions by themselves, but I mean like some of these like invasions I feel like should get like, I mean I don't know why we don't have like a SEAF buff. I don't know, just so that like it doesn't require 60% of the population to win a defense. That's like that's my thing. I want to stop that. I want to stop requiring 60% of the Helldiver Corps to win a defense.